So in the process of story development, when your central idea is very focused and very clear with the strong conception, and after the writing with a strong conception, the writing of the story becomes a very authentic effort to achieve the particular result for the development of the screenplay. So when we have understood the structure, so in the structure basically it's a very importance of the 3-act structure, central conflict, and or a storyline or a step outline. In short, it's a well-defined index of the chronology of your scenes. So understanding of the structure is very important in the construction of the story. So try to understand cinema is a very expensive media, and why filmmaker hires a script writer? Because they know how to compress the story in an effective way, or how to find out the cinematic material from the entire story. So when you write a screenplay, it's particularly for the production of the film. Production instructions are there for the film. So it's better to well define that what is your story, how many scenes and situations are there, and how much content is there in each and every situation. So when you are writing a draft about your story, so additionally, regardless, you will have to write the whole story on paper, in whatever way you can write, you simply write it. And once you have got a strong content, maybe 100 pages, 200 pages, 1000 pages, 2000 pages, and from this lot of content you can extract the exact cinematic elements, exact visual content that can be created into the situations, scenes and events, and it can be enacted on the screen. That's why understanding of the structure is a very important phenomena for a script writer. So creation of the story, when you create the story, at that time do not think of the structure. You simply try to create your story, try to build up your story, try to build the logic, try to create the emotions, try to create the internal conflict. Because the internal conflict of the characters of the protagonist leads the external conflicts, external activities, external actions. And that's why when you are going to create a structure, you should know that you have enough content written in the form of story. So when you have developed the first draft of your story, and from that story you know that what is the exact situation in the first act, or what is the elaboration of the struggle of the protagonist in the second act, or how the third act becomes unpredictable, and it's a very important activity for the audience. And that's why you must understand that cinema is a good cinema or a bad cinema. So when you are going to make the good cinema, then you should have a very unique kind of treatment in your storyline, in your structure. So once you have understood the importance of the structure, then automatically you can understand that how you are going to interact with the audience. Simply you should not take it granted that audience will assume each and everything and they will understand. They are more smarter than you. So think like a creative person, think like an innovative person, and in that process try to develop your central conflict in a unique way. Try to add the treatment to your protagonist, that will be very unique treatment. Try to explore the mentality of antagonist in a very different way, in a very unique way. Keep in mind that it should not be predictive. Once people started predicting your film, your story, it means there is no interest in that story. That's a meaningless story. So in the construction of your structure, you should try to experiment with different possibilities in the Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3. I'm not talking about a directorial treatment in your screenplay. Directorial treatment is a different part. So chronologically, what happens to your story? So initially, don't make a mess between the story treatment and the actual storyline. So actual storyline you will write in the chronology as how the story take place from the beginning till the end. Later on you can change in the story treatment, that either you will explain or you will show some part of your climax in the beginning or resolution in the beginning, or in between you will show some flashback or flashback into flashback. So that's a different part. That's a different way of dealing with the story. So when you are trying to create a structure with a very effective way, it means, in short, it's a concept editing. It's the editing of your film on the screen. Because initially when you write a story and the act and activities and actions step by step, and in between you will use a strong logic for the construction of the story. So try to understand, when you are creating the storyline or the structure, you should know at one particular point that how many scenes are there in your film. You simply cannot say maybe 60-70 or 70-50 or 50-20. When you will know that how many scenes are there in your story, it's something like you are telling your exact age. So once if somebody asks you what is your age, you immediately you can tell 20, 25, 30, 50, whatever. Because chronologically you know the linear or timeline of your age. So similarly, you should know your structure, the chronology of your story, and exact numbers of the scenes or situations in the story. And once you know that thing, then it's your creative or intellectual decision that which is the scene to remove from the story or which is an additional scene to incorporate in between the particular scenes. So scene is what? Scene is basically well-defined activity which occurs in particular time, in particular space, with characters or without characters, with action or without action. So initially you need to define the space of the situation. So space can be a particular room, hotel, restaurant, school, college, bedroom, kitchen, toilet, jungle, waterfall, railway station, hospital, crowd, footpath. But there are n numbers of locations and situations, but ultimately you will have to define your locations, because when the film production will held, so producer should know that how many locations we require, and one particular location how many scenes are there to shoot. So why screenplay is written? Screenplay is written for the particular instruction in the particular department of filmmaking. So they should have a uniform message, they should have a particular instruction during the production. That's why screenplays are written. So one perfect producer or perfect director will know that how many scenes are there in his story, how many situations are there. If there are 100 scenes and there are only 25 locations, it means on an average there are 4 scenes on one particular locations are going to be produced or to shoot. So naturally producer will try to understand that how that producer can make a budget of the film, of the locations and the characters and the situations. So it's very authentic to work on our structure very effectively.